Oh, who's starting off?
It was you.
Oh, my bad. I forgot. I totally forgot. I'm looking at you guys
Come on.
All right, well, guys, thanks for tuning in to Wine at 9, an intimate and thought-provoking weekly wine night discussion. Here at Wine at 9, we encourage you to grab a bottle of wine and some friends and join us as we discuss a variety of topics ranging from deep and philosophical to minute and random. We are your hosts.
I'm Jen.
KG.
And I'm Jerry Joseph.
All right, so today's wines, Jerry Joseph here has Layer Cake Cabernet. I have Pinetti Pinot Grigio. KG has Stella Mia Moscato D'Asti. That's the place where it's from.
I would hope so.
Italian,
Yeah.
All right, so cheers to us, episode 1.
We'll say first official.
Wow.
Yeah, first
Yeah,
official.
we've been practicing a lot for this, so we're excited.
Oh.
I picked a good one too.
Yeah, this one's really good. Actually, I don't like white wines.
We all
really,
approve.
but, you know, I used to drink a lot of white wines, and I used to prefer Pinot Grigio, and then I got out of it. Once I started drinking Cabernet, I was like, done for. I can't even look at a white wine seriously anymore.
Oh yeah. This is really it's different for me because I don't do too many white wines, but I forgot just how like Moscatos are normally sweet, and I like that. Like I'm knocking that thing out, man. It's pretty good. You can definitely taste the flavors, the fruits. It's all in there, kind of tangerine-ish. It's really good. I can't complain. How you feeling about yours, bro?
I'm going to take your word for it because I'm not going to taste it, not yours.
Why?
It already sounds too sweet.
Yeah. I
Too
think yours
sweet
is
for
going to
you?
be a little sweet too, though, for a Cabernet.
Yeah, I'm strictly a red wine drinker. I can have like a Sauvignon Blanc with like sushi or maybe fish or something, but that's very rare. This one is very unique. So it's actually made in a bourbon barrel. It's bourbon barrel aged. I don't really taste a lot of that, but it is very velvety, very smooth. And there's like warm notes of like vanilla and maybe blackberry in this. But what really strikes me is that it's just so smooth. It's extremely smooth, and that's kind of uncommon for me to find in wine.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this one too. This one's pretty smooth. It's very, very light and crisp. It has like a melon aroma, but I can really taste like a peach and citrus fruit type of taste.
Yours was
This
a
is
Pinot
from-
Grigio?
No. Yeah, Pinot Grigio, yeah. This is from Italy. I don't know where in Italy though, but it's imported into Novato, California. So this is from 2019. So this is a newer wine. I don't know. I'm really liking it though. It's something. It's because it's light. It should be paired with something like a light dinner, like salad or like grilled chicken, maybe some appetizers. This is a really good. Like I'm really impressed actually. Besides, or like compared to the wines that we've tasted in the past, this is probably my favorite white wine that we've had on the show so far. So
I'll have to try that thing out.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a little strange for me because like normally when I drink wine, I typically don't think about what food pairs well with it. I tend to think of like, where do I see myself as I'm drinking it? And this one is really hard to place. Like I'm taking a sip and I just can't picture where I am when I'm drinking it. Not that it's a bad thing. It's just very unusual. I'll see how I feel at the end of this bottle.
This is giving me like Miami vibes, like Miami brunch.
Yeah?
Sitting like beachside.
Like living in Miami or vacationing? Because I feel like that'd be very,
vacation.
very different.
It's hard to live there. Anyway, speaking of finishing the bottle, this is 12% alcohol. So as the show goes on, I just want everyone to keep that in mind.
Heated. I love this, man. Guys, I'm gonna kick it straight. How did we get here? Wine and I love it, man. Like, I remember you guys coming to me with it. You were like, hey, like, you should come on board with it. We've all had experiences attempting to really get it started. Here we are. It's a podcast.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we've been practicing a lot for this. And the practices have been fun. We've been learning a lot. Not just about each other, but just about how this thing kind of goes in general. I think for me, this is just like very therapeutic, you know, because beyond being a podcast, this is something that we actually do on like a regular basis. We go, we get some drinks, we talk about things that are important to us, what's important in the world. So we kind of took that characteristics about our friendship and we just kind of decided to put it on camera and see what we could do with it, and kind of made it like a creative hobby of ours. So we're really enjoying it. You know, these guys are really talented with the cameras and the videos, and we really enjoy each other's company and conversation. And of course we all love to drink. I mean, that's true. So this is honestly
Guilty.
just
Yeah.
So this has been really, really fun for us.
You know, fun fact, I used to actually live with KG. Why's that funny?
All the time, man. Those good times.
Yeah, so we first lived together. This is probably like 10 years ago, and I was like 25, and we started to get into wine kind of like together. You know, something hit me one day. I was like, you know what? Everyone's drinking wine. I really want to try, because I didn't like wine. So
It's different.
it is. And so my buddy and I used to go out and we used to get a bottle of wine like almost every night, and a different bottle just to try everything out to see what we liked, what we didn't like. And when KG and I lived together, we used to drink a lot of wine
A
together.
lot of wine.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Okay.
severe understatement. Like we.
That's so crazy because I thought that you were actually just now getting into wine because of the podcast.
You know what's funny? I got into it back then, but there was so once he left, that was the end of my wine endeavor, if I'm being honest about it. So I definitely needed a refresher. And here we are again. I love it. Like, I like wine, but I mean, personally, if I'm being honest about it, I'm more of a beer drinker, but it's fun to really explore. Like, even today when I went out, before I had a small glass of something different, something new. They have so many different wines. So like, you know, it's endless. You know what I mean?
It's just like beer. Like beer, it's just like, I mean, it's like you said, it's endless. I mean, it can just go on forever. So same thing with wine. And it's crazy because people take wine super seriously, and same thing with beer. Like we said, I mean, they both resemble a lot in that sense. But people take wine very seriously. That's why we are attempting to take this very seriously on the show, because we're kind of, this is new for us, so we want to kind of learn and.
Wait, what's new for you? New for us, for wine?
Well, no.
I feel like I'm kind of a seasoned vet. I'm like, you know, I'm not a savant or anything, but.
Well, I was saying, like, there are people who are like super professional wine drinkers. You know, I mean, I think you're pretty semi-professional. But
He's seasoned.
Yeah.
I appreciate the art and the skill of wine, and you know the different flavor profiles and exploring it. I think that's a lot of fun. I don't think I'll ever take it to the level that some people do.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to have
Never
a
say
wine
never,
collection,
I mean.
you know, but I can't even keep 3 bottles, you know, at my place for more than 24 hours.
Facts.
Wow.
I'd go broke trying to keep a collection.
I had a customer who used to give me like cases of wine, like by the 10. So I would have like so many bottles, and they'd be all different types. And I went a while because, like you said, you normally drink beer. I normally drink whiskey. I'm a whiskey drinker, so you can tell. Like,
I love whiskey.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to go from like whiskey to wine,
wine,
but I enjoy wine when it's casual conversation, like what the podcast is about. You know, when we're talking about things that are super serious or that we're passionate about, or things that we enjoy, hobbies that we have. So
Exactly.
I agree. Like, when we used to live together, we used to drink a lot of wine, and we would talk philosophy for hours. And you know, at that time, there's a lot of people around that age, you know, mid-20s, that are going out, getting hammered at the bar, you know, throwing up in parking lots. I've been there. Sometimes I'm still there, you know.
Yeah.
But for us, being able to drink wine and to talk about very deep philosophical things that you normally don't talk about with a lot of your friends, I thought was really special. And we actually like threw around the idea of like, maybe one day it'd be kind of cool to have a podcast for people that are similar to us, that because we're not the only ones that are, you know, 20 somethings, and we're out talking about things that are on a deeper level. And we thought, you know, it'd be kind of cool to have something that people could listen to and kind of kick off their own conversations with their friends.
Yeah, I agree.
And that, you know, at the time, I didn't put much thought into it. I was like, yeah, wouldn't it be cool if, you know? And yeah, I never thought that I would actually go through with it. But you actually suggested that we do a podcast, and
Well, you guys gave me the idea, but yeah, well, for sure. But I remember it was a night, maybe a few months ago, when I came over here. Jerry Joseph and I stayed up for like 6 hours. I mean, and the topics of conversation ranged from like relationships to race to feminism to all different types of topics. And then by the end of the night, I'm like, why don't we put this on camera and share it with people? Because, you know, we have ideas, we have something to say, we have sometimes we say things that maybe some people are afraid to say, but I think that one thing that's unique about us is that we're all different, but we all have a lot in common. So we can all bring something different and unique to the table. So
dialogue is key. Dialogue is key. We're actually, so for the audience, where are you guys from originally? We're stretching out there now.
I'm from Noonan.
Noonan?
I'm from Noonan.
I hate to say it, but
Well, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with.
it's not. It's a great place. I'm glad to have grown up in a small town, but it's just, you know, even living in Atlanta, I tell people I'm from Noonan, and they're like, "Where?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Dude, are you serious? Look at a map. Like, it's really right there."
I'm not gonna lie. But seeing as though I'm not from here, I didn't know about Noonan until I got here, to be honest. But, you know, I'm ignorant to those things anyway. But I'm actually from Chesapeake, Virginia. And it was a culture shock coming here. Not necessarily for like Noonan, but just Georgia in general. It's the South is its own breed, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I've
I hear that
adjusted.
a lot.
I like to think so.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
It's a culture shock for people,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
Atlanta. I mean, for people that are up in the Northwest, specifically that I've met, they always say coming to Atlanta, it's like you gotta get used to it within like a day or two, or you're just gonna have to go home. You know, I mean, you're not gonna enjoy it. So,
Someone from the Midwest coming down to the home of Freaknik.
Yeah.
No, all right. So I was born in Savannah, and then my parents moved back here to Noonan, or my dad moved back here to Noonan. You know, he was born and raised here, I think. My mom is from Seoul, South Korea. So Army kid, obviously. My parents had me and my sister and brother down in Savannah, moved us up here when we were young children, and yeah, I've been here ever since. Hopefully that's gonna change. I mean, like I said, Noonan's not bad. Noonan is
That was gonna be yeah.
Noonan feels like a country club. It really does. Like
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
it's friendly, but it's friendly because you're in that group, or like they put you there, or you feel like you might be a part of that little club or clique. I don't really
Yeah.
feel like Noonan takes too kindly to outsiders. You know, to a lot of people that are different. You know, that it's not as inclusive as, say, you know, Atlanta or other, you know, major cities that I've been to.
I would completely agree with that. But I also say once you wiggle your way in to that stratosphere, you're good. Like people like that's kind of how it was for me. I was extremely like I was kind of alienated when I first got here, and then like, you know, just staying and making more friends and building myself socially.
Yeah.
It was like I'm, you know, not to toot my own horn, but I'm one of the more affluent, I would like to think, members of the city or community
You
at
are.
this point.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not from here, you know. So Noonan raised me. I wouldn't tell anybody otherwise. Noonan legit raised me as a
You've
man.
been here for a while.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
And someone
I'm
asked me recently.
Noonanized.
They said, you've known KG for a long time. Why did he move here? He's not from here. And I was like, well, I have no idea. I have no idea what brought
I got
you down
trapped,
here.
man. Listen, dude. So I came with family originally, and we were here for a good minute. But then everyone eventually went back home, and so I was a little younger. You know, called myself being in love, and had a child, and you know, I was rooted at that point. So that's kind of where that, you know. But I've got one sister. She's currently here, but the rest of my family, they're in Virginia. So as far as my future, though, I think I've seen the best and not in a negative sense, just I've seen a lot of Noonan, what it has to offer, and I'm definitely at a point in life where I want to explore other things. I've never lived on the West Coast. I'm not above it. Like, you know, all I've known is the East Coast, but it's like I definitely, at the minimum, Atlanta will be the move for me. At the minimum.
Yeah.
Every time I go there, it's like a breath of fresh. It's like it's completely different.
Really?
Different,
Oh God,
man.
I'm in Atlanta like every day, and I'm like, between Noonan and Atlanta, I'm like, okay, where's Denver? Because I gotta get there sometime soon.
Yeah, you were talking about moving to Denver.
For a little bit, yeah. Just different opportunities, different people. I don't know how I'm gonna mend with the people there. I mean, it's a city, so it's not like, like you said, this is like a country club. So I'm not moving into somewhere like that where I'm like, hey, this is me, get to know me, and I'll get to know you type thing. It's kind of like I'm here to kind of take advantage of what there is here to do and in my own personal growth. So other than that, I don't know how I go, but I'm willing to take the chances. So.
Yeah, so you're a city girl?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in Newnan my whole life. I've been being in a town like this is kind of like it's only up from here, I'm not trying to go to Hogansville or Macon or anything like that. I'm trying to go to the city life, especially when I'm young,
Yeah, I've always felt uncomfortable. What's the word? All right, obviously claustrophobic is when you feel, we all know what claustrophobic is. What's the opposite? Because like when I'm going through some country town
and
it's like it's open fields, like I start to feel uncomfortable. I start thinking like,
if I get into a wreck for that, but I completely get what you're saying. By the way,
if I get into a wreck right now, how long is it going to take for an ambulance to get here? 45, 50 minutes? Like, It's scary. I think about just no one's around. It's just. Yeah, it's weird.
And some people love that, and that's what, like, I can't understand people like that because I'm like, okay, I can understand where maybe you want to live on like 10 acres, like on a random side road, but to be that far away from people and live on like 500 acres in the middle of nowhere, like, why? I could never.
Why?
It's a totally different life. I used to live behind Walmart, and I used to live in apartments behind Walmart, not actually physically behind Walmart.
I know.
But, it was so cool thinking that, like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I want some ice cream. Boom, I have ice cream in, there and back in 15 minutes. Anyone and everyone delivers food to where I live now, always. And so the idea of living somewhere where you can't even order a pizza, where you're like, hey, let me get a large pepperoni, and they're just like, nah. They're like, nah.
Think of the days where you're so hungover that you're like, I cannot get in the car. Even if I do get in the car, I'm probably gonna get a DUI. Like, imagine those days and not being able to order pizza. Like, I used to live in Atlantic Station.
That's what it is. Agoraphobia.
Agoraphobia.
Yeah. Thanks, Frank. He's silent. He's like, I'm just gonna throw this in real quick. But yes.
Wow.
The opposite of claustrophobia.
Yeah. See, look, we're learning stuff.
Oh, nice.
One of the main incentives for me, like really leaving, going to Atlanta and making that jump, opportunities.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more to do. I'm curious, hobbies, interests.
Oh my God, there's everything to do.
Everything. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm at heart, I'm a city boy. Metropolitan is perfect for me. Like, I love people. I need constant, like, I have to meet new people, different ideas. Like, I really need to be in a melting pot. I've actually been, I love Newnan to death, and I'll tell anybody.
Yeah.
But it's been a disservice to me in terms of like personal growth. I'm aware of that, so that's why I'm really like, I'm about that.
I feel like there's only so much growth you can get from a place like this,
Yeah.
and not just Newnan in particular, but pretty much any
Suburbs.
place that is like that. Absolutely, and like I can only imagine. So when I first met KG, he did two things. He went to work, and then he came home and he played 2K. That was it.
I am the man, by the way. 2K, Madden.
Yeah, he didn't go out to bars. He didn't go out to social events. He didn't do anything. But he had this very deep philosophical side of him, as you already know, but no experience, like zero life experience. And we used to argue all the time about this.
Some good.
I
know my own though, but I will concede a lot of the things. Like what he's saying is true, man.
But you've grown a lot, and I think to myself, if you lived in a city like Atlanta, that you wouldn't have a choice. Like there'd be no option. You would have. The whole world is right there. You have to go out and do something. You can't even go to work without passing like 2 or 3 things that just like spark interest or different opportunities for growth. Anything. So
this is true.
Yeah, for sure. And if you like beer, there's so many good breweries in Atlanta.
Oh man.
Every time I even think about vacation, I always think, I don't think beaches or mountains. I think like metropolis. I
Me
think of
too.
like major cities.
I'm the same way.
I have to
And
know-
people think I'm
That's so
so
true.
weird for
That's
that,
so
but
true,
I always want to know how different cities are set up, their structure, what the people are like. Chicago interests me a lot.
You've never been? It's
No.
on your list, yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking about Chicago today actually, and it's so pretty, like the canal running through the city, and yeah.
You know it's cold, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like cold as balls. Like coming from Georgia, understand it is cold
Yeah.
up there.
It is windy up there, and that's part of the reason why it's so cold too. But I want to see a lot of different cities in America. But I love Atlanta. Atlanta's my home. At least I feel like it's my home because I'm there every day.
Yeah.
Also, the drivers in Chicago, in my opinion, the drivers are even worse than what you see in Atlanta.
I think that
Atlanta's
there's
cutthroat, but they're just dumb up there.
I
Like, it
think
is-
a lot of places have worse drivers. I think honestly we should be thankful. I think that we're a little like, we complain too much about drivers in Atlanta, whereas other places, especially Florida, Miami is awful. In Miami, they will honk at you when you're in a turning lane. Like I'm turning, like, oh my God, people are just so, it's almost like there's so much anxiety on the road that it's like uncomfortable to drive. I'm just always in an Uber or walking. Like, please, like someone else do it because I can't.
Awesome. I am curious though, any passions, hobbies that you would like to share with the audience to kind of get, I want them to get a feel for who we are. We're all really good friends. And it's looking crazy.
Your mind just like
Hey, we are.
keep it going. Let's go. No, let's go. All right. So, what you're saying, passion, hobbies?
Yeah. So they really know, like, I want them to know about us, man. I love you guys. I'm serious, Like, we have a lot to offer as people. So, like, my thing is, your passions, to share those with the world. You can be let them know just what kind of self-representative. Like, what do you get into in life?
You start.
We both like naturally looked over at you.
That's funny. I know. I don't know why,
You
but I
guys must
did.
be curious then. So
You're good,
let me
girl.
just tell you. I think with my passions, I don't want to ramble, but I guess to keep it concise, I would say, I think my biggest passion is probably philanthropy. I love to know like what I can do for other people in terms of service. I do have a big passion for prison reform. I think that's probably one thing that I think about most often. Another passion that I think I have is improvement in Black communities around in the nation, and not just the nation. I know that's you have to start local, but worldwide also. I think beyond that, my creative passions, probably music. I love aerial arts as well. I don't know if anybody really knows that.
I know it. I mean, I don't.
Yeah, I love aerial arts. I think it's
Give it to me in layman's terms. I'm not familiar with this term.
like aerial arts as in like I know you've been to like a Cirque du Soleil and you've seen like the hoops, people dancing through the
Okay.
hoops,
Oh.
and then they dance. They do tricks on like ribbons, and then of course pole dancing is considered an aerial art.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah. Just anything where you're like kind of doing like spins and tricks in the air. So I actually have my friends and I really enjoy that type of art. It's actually a really healthy workout too. So it's good for your body. It's good for your mind. It's almost like a meditation, but it's very therapeutic. Kind of like how this is. One of my other hobbies is sitting around with my friends and talking about things that are going on in the world because it matters. And one thing that really bothers me as a citizen or a human like on this earth is that people don't take what happens seriously. They talk about it for a little bit and let it go, when things are very imperative to how the world works and how people live and how we all act, and certain situations that go on, whether it be political or just civil issues. I mean, they're very important. So I enjoy talking about that and getting different opinions and ideas from my friends. So
Awesome. What
It's
about
actually one of my
you,
favorite
man?
things, talking to you on camera and off.
yeah.
Just how we talk and things we talk about. I love hearing your passion come out in those things. And
Yeah. One time we did get really heated when we brought up the young boy in Texas. We not at each other.
what was this?
This wasn't on a
I
podcast.
have a horrible memory.
Yeah. Well, remember, I think we were ending a podcast, like one of our practice shoots, and I told you guys about you guys hadn't even heard about it, and it was the young boy in Texas he was a young black boy, and he went to go spend the night at his friend's house, and they were all white, and there was like a group of them, and they were like young 13-year-old.
Oh, that night.
That night. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't know the incident, but I remember you speaking towards it.
Yeah, Jim was always like, if that was my kid,
Yeah. She had that same energy.
Yeah.
Because I put myself, like, I pretended like I was the white mother in that situation, and my child did some awful
you
things.
were hot.
Yeah.
I thought about getting the fire extinguisher and putting you out. Like, you were like real, like on a whole other level.
She was turned.
I was really, really angry about that because I just couldn't imagine. But, that's a topic for another day. But that's when my passion truly came out. That was
Yeah, fair enough. Passion, though.
I would say it's easy to say art because I've always been an artist, and I don't know, I've done everything from drawing to sketching to writing to poetry, photography, but when I hit video and film, like it clicked. That's my home, that's my art. But all types of arts. I really appreciate art in all of its form, and everything from like sushi and fashion. I love art. Mm-hmm. Video games is a huge passion of mine, and which, in my opinion, is a true art. It is the pinnacle of storytelling, in my opinion. There's literally nothing better.
You have a favorite game of all time?
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy VII. Yes, Final Fantasy VII. I got my tattoo, my Final Fantasy tattoo.
I'll see that.
I'm also. Those are my outwards, passions. Inwards, like, I'm pretty private about humanity, the future of humanity, and where I think that we should go for the survival of our race, and the just the betterment of all humankind. And I typically stay a little quiet about it because my opinions are unpopular. We actually got
understandable.
We got into a heated discussion not too long ago, and
we did.
Look, I'm not saying it's my first choice, but if someone said, I'm gonna erase 95% of the world's population, start over, I'd be like, okay, like, you're in that 95%. I'd be like, so be it,
So be it.
It's like be unpopular.
It is very unpopular. I'm not saying it's my first choice. I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things. I'm passionate about what we are as humans and as a society. I look at the world through a very different lens as a very binary thinker, and I see things very objectively, and it really stresses me out to see, like,
I can only imagine
what we're doing as human beings, how we treat each other, how we live our lives, mm-hmm. what we strive for, knowing like we have the potential to be so much greater,
But everybody thinks that same thing. Like, everybody has that thought of like, where are we going? What are we doing? And I think that's one of the reasons why we are led into a lot of the problems that we have, is because a lot of people have fear and anxiety when they think about it. But you're a very solution-oriented person. And you have these really creative ideas, but there are people in the world that have so much anxiety and have so much like animosity against people in general, and those are typically the ones in charge. And we have a lot of things that happen in the world because people are so afraid of what's going to happen in the future.
And a lot of people are afraid of change too. Mm-hmm. As I've talked to people, they're like, "Oh, change is weird. Change is scary. I don't like change." I'm like, "Why?" Like, it's just. So one thing about me that I don't know if a lot of people know this, but probably should. I've had two parents growing up. My parents, were always together until my mom passed away. So I can say that both my parents raised me, but I also feel like I have a equally important third parent, and that's video games. Video games literally have shaped me into the man that I am. And you change video games regularly. You play this game, you love it, you beat it, you finish it. and you move on to the next game. So your entire world, everything that you're engrossed in, changes. So you're playing Final Fantasy with swords and shields and magic, and that's your entire world. It encompasses you. And then a couple months later, you're a soldier, in the Middle East, defending our country. And then shortly after that, now you're on the football field, and your entire world is football and training and winning a Super Bowl, and then you switch again and then switch again and switch again. Like your world changes completely as a gamer all the time. And so seeing the world that we live in now, it's easy for me to see it completely different in a couple of years or, a decade or two.
Wow.
Okay.
Changes.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
My little cousin is at a RIT right now, and he's actually going to be a video game developer.
Is that where?
RIT, Rochester
Oh,
Institute of Technology.
I used to want to be a video game producer.
Yeah.
Back when it used to be a rock star thing to do. Before they started, cutting people down and, shaving money by just scrapping people after you finish a game.
Yeah.
But, so those are my passions. What about you, KG?
So, philosophy first and foremost. Since I was younger, I've always had my mind, I think, probably to an unhealthy level, but I take scenarios and I break them down and I spin them every way possible. Like my mind is always going how can you look at this in a different angle? So I think philosophy, I like to, but I guess in its truest sense, a lover of wisdom. So if there's something that any man has ever lived and it could benefit another person and that's been put out there, I want to absorb that. I love that. I like thinking about things. So maybe, it can benefit you, maybe not. But I think I'm one of the most open-minded individuals anyone will ever encounter. You know what I mean? That's always been one thing.
Now. KG used to play devil's advocate to a fault. You'd be like, KG, you're the coolest person ever. And he'd be like, you know what? No, I'm the worst. Let me argue that. He used to do that all the time.
I'll say something. Life experience. Now, what you were combating was more so, it was more of an egotistical version of me that is only natural when you're younger. And then I'm getting older.
Yeah.
And I'm not being funny, dude. Don't look at me like that, bro. It's no, you go through things and it forces you to get a little bit, all right. When I'm, okay, so the older I get, I'm actually realizing I'm doing this. I'm trading off a lot of that philosophical version of myself I can't afford to be anymore because I want to live by grace. So discovering who you are in this world to find some sense of solace and be happy and just exist happily, that's important for me now. So it's I can think all I want, but at the end of the day, I don't want any, I don't like the internal, issues anymore. So my thing is, I can't get away from, hence, even with this podcast, being able to talk about things and all of us have different perspectives and things like that. That's one of the main incentives for me even doing this. It's I can't get away from the fact that I'll always be philosophical, but I'm just not as much as, especially when you knew me, I was that, but I was a lot more hard-headed.
We used to scream at each other.
Yeah.
We would be screaming for hours.
Neither one of us have the energy to do that anymore.
I have the potential. It's not about the potential. But all right, so real quick,
something more tangible. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you have a favorite philosopher or a couple of favorite philosophers?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So Friedrich Nietzsche. That's probably my favorite. He was so revolutionary, and at least how the academia that I've taken in, everything they break down about him. He had a lot of very unpopular beliefs, and his and opinions. Actually, I have a few. It's funny. So Martin Heidegger, actually all of them, dude. To be honest, man, I love studying the greatest minds, man. Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Marcus Aurelius. I love philosophical works. There's so many different ways to look at life. But I will say this much though: passion. This probably should have been first, but I'm glad. If I'm being true and genuine, I've been into religion a lot. Recently. So my thing is now I've been studying scriptures, the Christian Bible.
Good.
That's my thing. So it varies, man. I'm still growing as an individual, which is hence why I really push this. Something more tangible for me personally, anime. I'm a big anime fan, and what I find is that I'm attracted to anime. We're actually
we all love it.
Yeah. They're getting me into it. I've actually binge watched it the last couple of days. So.
Yeah.
Jen's in the initiation, man.
KG's hardcore about it. I feel like I'm
in
average?
training. He's
I would
getting
say
there.
I've watched it my whole life. It's kind of hard to say in training.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
But
it's
he
just
got, you seem pretty semi-professional. You're definitely a professional. Like y'all, he loves. I don't think he watched anything but anime, right?
honestly, nope. No.
Yeah.
I guess in any form of entertainment, yes. I still watch documentaries, and I watch like lectures from some of the professors that I admire. But outside of that, it's just anime, man. It's a different form of entertainment, bro. It's really different.
I need to get back on my. I'm sorry to interrupt. I need to get back
you're
on my
good.
documentary life. But go ahead.
I got some stuff for you.
Okay.
Yeah, but speaking of which, we actually all just went to see Demon Slayer: Mugen Train in theaters.
Yeah.
no spoilers.
Heck no.
Oh, we can't.
But out of 5 stars, what you give it?
5.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to go see Mortal Kombat. Was it last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so
I didn't go see it, but you did.
we got there 20 minutes early, and it happens to be the last 20 minutes of Mugen Train in another theater. So like literally, we just walked right in, and he's like lower third. And I was like, have a seat. Here we go, right? And so it was the last 20 minutes of that film that we watched right before going to see Mortal Kombat. Mugen Train is game changing, absolutely game changing, and not just for anime. But I guarantee you, we're going to see this in the West. It's going to happen where you have a show will complete a season, which will lead up to a complete feature-length film that leads up into the new season.
I bet.
That was a very genius
It's a
move
good
by
tactic,
them.
man. Yeah.
Extremely.
That movie.
Because now I'm waiting for that next season. I'm like, let's go, man.
Oh my
Like,
gosh, I know. I can't wait. And all the animes that we watch, we're always like, when can we see more?
Yep.
Yeah, storytelling
Yep.
in anime is so different. I argue this with a lot of people that don't watch it, and I try to tell them like, anime or Eastern storytelling is unrivaled at how they put you into each character's shoes,
Yeah.
feel what they feel. You know, it's just. You know, I was watching I think it was, we were watching the last episode of Demon Slayer before the movie.
Yeah.
You know, and Tanjiro says, it's like his voice, it makes my body feel light. And I thought to myself, how would you even express that in Western storytelling? And I was like, that's really difficult. And it sounds cheesy to say it, just verbally say it. But in anime, it makes sense, and it's fluid, and it's engaging. It's on a whole nother level.
I think the cartoon animations as well are more I don't know how to say it. I guess better at pulling you in with your emotions towards characters, because they're not real people, and they're not somebody off screen. Their facial expressions are exactly what the creator wants it to be. The voice is exactly what it's supposed to be, and whatever is not there is left up to your own imagination. So your own creativity has a lot to do with your enjoyment in anime as well. So I think that's a really cool part of it, and it's just beautiful. Like the whole art and creation. It's just with the movie, like we were talking about on the way home, because we all 3 went to go see it together. I mean, we talked for a while after we saw it and talked about key components to the movie. But what I've noticed a lot about anime, and something we can touch on really quick, is that when you're talking about the development of characters and your emotions that are tied to them, one thing that anime does with the storytelling, and the one that I just watched that you recommend, the Promised Neverland.
The Promised Neverland.
The story in that, especially in the first season, because I haven't got to the second yet, the way that they tell it, the way that they unravel it, it's so unique, and it's so, because you go through the season and you're like, okay, we know pretty much everything that's going on, and then you get to the end of the season and it's a totally like, just, it's like a spider web.
A lot of plot twists, man.
Yeah.
A lot of plot twists.
Yeah, but when it all ties together, it just makes perfect sense. And you just kind of think to yourself like, wow, like, how did I not see that? You know, one thing with Western film and Western television is that it's just predictable. And that's why I get so annoyed with it. I tell people all the time, like, I'm not a movie person. Because I don't go see the movies because they're just so predictable. There's no twist and turn that you can do that I can't think
They're
of.
mostly I feel like Western is more for entertainment.
When
We've
you're
been
so
driven by
advanced
Hollywood.
technologically, you don't have to have sophisticated storytelling.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
like, that's
you're
why,
right.
like over there, I forgot the exact reasoning they don't invest the same way into like actual like live action film, but I know it's inconvenient. But it makes them have to, like, when it's animation, your storytelling has to be that much better. Like, that's how I look at it. Like,
I think about, so my favorite anime is Attack on Titan. And you take something like Attack on Titan and you put it next to Marvel's Avengers. And with the Avengers, you have your lore. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Marvel, I love superheroes, I love that whole universe. But you have your characters, you have the lore, and then you go follow the characters through their story. It's pretty cut and dry. It really is. Where in anime, you could have, you can have a moment, you can have a split second, and you can have. So one of my favorite also is Haikyuu, which is a volleyball anime.
Yeah, he loves that.
In just a split second for an athlete, this could be like in a 3/10 of a second. But in the anime, it could be a whole episode where you start that first 1/10 of a second, and then it cuts to a backstory, which leads you into like that character development, which leads to the second 1/10 of a second, which leads to another thing, and it goes all in, and it's every thought that you would have as a human, as a normal human, all your thoughts, all your experiences that lead up to every decision you make, but told thoroughly, and you feel every aspect of the storytelling in that way. But in Western storytelling, they just turn it into slow motion.
Yeah.
Slow motion, and then they throw the dramatic music, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everything's laid out on the table, like, pretty much immediately, and then you're just waiting for, like, okay, do something cool. Like, there's just like puppets in a puppet show, right? But with anime, it's like you can really, anime is a lot like real life too, where like you meet somebody, especially in like how we met each other kind of later in our lives, and then you meet each other, you hang out because you get along, and then as you know each other, you kind of get into that background of like, okay, well, this is why I'm here, this is why I think this way, this is this, and then anime is the same way. It's exactly how you fall in love with the characters. It's they go through the whole show being whoever they are in that moment, and then you get to a point to where it's like, no, this is why I'm doing what I do. So
no, really quick, because I had this thought earlier, and it hasn't actually. It's funny because we're talking about this. So I noticed with a lot of anime that I've watched. So take My Hero Academia, Naruto. These shonen characters, their main protagonists, even Attack on Titan, across the board. I was thinking about this. At some point within that anime, the protagonist literally said the phrase, "I'm going to kill you," in reference to like somebody like he was hating in that moment. And what I got out of that is like, anime they don't make it black and white. It's like, even the main protagonists have shadows. It's character depth. It's like, it's not like as simple as right or wrong, good and evil. It's like they're people. Like Aaron, you know how deep it gets. So it's like, I can appreciate that, because that is in reference to what you were saying. That's how real life works. Even your best of friends have skeletons in the closet. They have demons. They have all types of things and so part of life is being able to navigate through somebody's stuff, and still, that's what really makes bonds so special, because none of us are perfect. And that's what an anime expresses perfectly to me. It's like that, those imperfections, they don't hesitate, especially with like, they don't hold back, man. So, over here in America, it's different. We tend to, we cut back a lot, man, it's hypocritical.
I think in America, it's about entertainment. They want to watch something, they want to be entertained, and then they move on.
They don't want to be. They don't want to gain insight. They don't want to. I get it.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man.
yeah, I don't gain anything from any movies that are put out, and in America or in the Western world.
I wouldn't say any. I wouldn't say any.
Yeah, there's a lot of good
I wouldn't say any.
There's just not as many good movies compared to other forms of media. So, my question, here's one thing that I've always thought, and I said this earlier. Video games are the final, ultimate form of storytelling.
Well, I don't play video games. So
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
That was
yet.
the point where we didn't watch
Oh.
anime, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. You
It's
guys
coming.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
coming.
So let's talk about the let's talk about some video. You can listen to us talk.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just sit here.
Yeah, but we're gonna get you. We're gonna get into it. You're gonna get into it. I guarantee.
Girl, I know you done play some Mario Kart or something. You,
You know, like video. Okay, when I think about
Tetris?
video games, when I think about video, I play games on my phone. But
That still counts. Yeah.
oh, okay, I am addicted to those. I'm not gonna lie. I do sit there, and you know what? I've kind of gotten a little proud of myself too for being that way because. So much better than sitting on social media all the time. You know what I mean? It's such a good alternative because I'm sitting here. I'm like, my mind's working. I'm thinking about what do I do next? You know, I'm engaged, and I'm not just mindlessly scrolling, thinking like, oh, this, that. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm such a robot when I'm just like watching stuff. But one video game. When we talk about video games, you guys are gonna laugh.
Probably not.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably not gonna think it's funny. But anyways, one video game that I did play as a kid was this little SpongeBob video game.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And
You're right.
Yeah. I remember like going through all these different levels. It was fun though. I used to have a PlayStation. I just remember that little SpongeBob game.
All right. So real quick, I want to ask KT, since you're both an anime watcher and a video game
I'm an
player.
avid gamer too, yeah.
Yeah. Because gaming is a huge part of our lives.
Yes.
All right. So here's my question: as an avid gamer and an avid anime fan, your favorite stories, do you think they were better told through anime or through video games?
Oh, that's an unfair question because you experience the story in a video game. So told better, it's hard for me to really measure it that way. I will say there have been some games I played that have had profound cinematic experiences. Final Fantasy VII also is one of my favorites. It's in my top 5. It's only been replaced by, in all honesty, Final Fantasy VIII. As I got older, I had more of an affinity for it. It's like there's a romance story at the heart of it, so it makes a little difference. But Final Fantasy VII did this thing to where I was so engaged in the story. Like, it was able to just bring me on in, man. One of the greatest stories ever told in a game. Now, your average game, the reason I say it's a little unfair is because you're playing it. It's like games will probably still be. If I had the time to play game the way that I used to, like, it would be a little different. I probably would be more of a gamer, but games take time. But in terms of anime, I lean a little bit more towards anime, a little bit more. What about you?
I would say if done well, nothing beats video games.
A video game?
It's excellent storytelling, and then you're making the decisions as you're going along. So, I would say that. It was a quick question. Just we can talk about that deeper on another day.
For another show, man.
Yeah. Which, by the way, this wine is. I thought it was smooth before. I almost forget that I'm drinking it. It is so smooth. This is really amazing. This is a layer cake. It doesn't taste sweet. It doesn't taste like cake. But wow, it is. Oh, did you guys try this?
I was about to say, on a serious note, we have to do
pass
some
it
swapping,
around.
man.
Yeah, pass
Taste
it
it.
around. This is
All right.
All right, taste
So
mine.
I have.
I'm not gonna like it.
But just try
gonna try
something
it.
different.
Oh yeah, no need though.
I smell it. I'm
That's
not gonna
fine.
like this.
I smelled yours before I tasted it. This is very citrusy. I can smell the orange, like the tangerine, like
It's
you
like,
said.
it's like water, man.
I know, but like,
It's like
all right, I'm not gonna lie. This is maybe it's because I've been drinking this that it tastes a little different, but
I'm telling you, that one's really good. That's way too sweet, by the way. But
It's very sweet.
I can smell the tangerine.
But I like the fact, the flavors like there is. I can
Pretty
taste
good. My
them.
mom loves Moscato for that reason. That's the taste that she goes for.
that's way too sweet.
I'm gonna have to what?
Moscato, any Moscato.
Oh yeah.
I gotta say, like, I never thought I would find a Pinot Grigio that I would enjoy, but I guess I could. I could
telling
drink
you.
this. Now, hey, here's a quick question about wine. Do you guys feel like? Get your wine back. as you drink wine, you savor it, you get all the flavors, and then you drink something else afterwards. You know how you pair wine with food? I guess what I'm saying is, you know how you pair wine with food?
Mm-hmm.
I believe that you pair wine with also other wines. Your first wine it tastes different than your second wine. And if you took those same two wines and you flip the order of it a different night, you're gonna have a totally different flavor experience. At least for me, that has been the case. Do you guys feel the same way?
I don't have enough experience to really give it, because like normally I'm like, that first bottle gets me there. Like whatever comes after that is just fluids, man. Like
I don't think I've ever drank 2 bottles in one night.
Oh,
Not of different stuff.
yeah, that seldom happens for me.
See,
so.
I heard
I am interested to
I'll take a higher quality wine. Something that's something higher on the point scale, like 95 or above. And then once I finish that, I'll move on to something, let's say, cheaper. Like a big bottle of Woodford. Not Woodford. What's it called? Woodbridge.
He actually loves barefoot wine. That's his favorite one.
I did try, because, I did this theory for a while. I was like, I can drink a good wine followed by a more inexpensive wine. And I think this was only like $20 a bottle. And then normally I would follow this up with like a $15 or like a $13 bottle of wine. I one time decided I was going to try 3-leaf duck feet or something. I don't know. It was some weird, I remember it was like $4 at Walmart. And I was like, I got $4 to burn. Let's try it. And then I realized, wow, you should never buy cheap wine. It is so disgusting and horrid. It's rare that I don't finish a bottle. And I did not.
Wow.
I did not finish.
You didn't even get past one glass, did you?
That was disgusting. It was just flat out nasty. So I didn't finish that. I didn't finish a muscadine wine once, and then I also didn't finish a blueberry wine.
I've actually never tried muscadine wine, but I love muscadines. I actually was just talking to my grandmother. She has a muscadine vineyard at her house, and I was just asking her, like, when are they gonna be ready? It's gonna be a while, but
is that a southern thing? I feel like it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm.
So I did see a meme one time that was like, it had a picture of muscadines, and it was like, you only know about this if you got it from your grandmother's farm or something, or your grandfather's farm. And I was like, wow, that's me. Because muscadines, you don't see them in stores. I had an argument with my nephew one time when I was.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, you don't see them in grocery stores. I remember like having this argument with my nephew who's looking at grapes, and he was like, these are muscadines. And then he saw like the big cherries. He's like, no, those. I was like, they don't have them here. It's like, if you want them, I'm going to Mama's house in August. I'll get them for you. But they really don't sell them in grocery stores. It's strange. It's like if you are a muscadine lover, you kind of have to have a vineyard in your yard.
That's crazy because you're right. I've never seen them in stores ever in my life. But while we're on the subject of, is there anything like southern that you love that this is like strictly southern?
Other than sweet tea. I don't know. You go first.
That's actually what I was going to say. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't undermine Southern hospitality. I don't know if that qualifies, but I feel strongly about it. Like I saw that more when I got down here. But people are really surface level, very, very nice and hospitable. And for someone like, I gotta say it because I've seen some ugly things in the South too. So it's like I definitely appreciate that, man. It's way more wholesome down here, on whole.
That's interesting you say that because the most wholesome people I've ever been around have been like Northern California or like the West. In the West, people are really, really nice. And I also think it's a city thing too. I think when you're in the city, people are just more like, I'll never see you again. I'll tell you exactly what's on my mind.
See, then maybe our definitions of, I equate wholesome to fake nice or nice for the sake of being nice. You don't like fake nice?
No.
I love fake nice. It makes my day go by that much. I don't mind, man. Like don't make my day any harder than it has to be. Just smile and just like
fake nice
pretend
makes me have to work harder because it makes me think like, well, now I have to be fake nice to you knowing that you're fake nice to me.
I can see that, and I feel like I'm on the fence about it because I've seen like true, genuine like Southern hospitality, and then I've also seen the more fake surface level, this is what my church would want me to say in a situation, and I've also seen people that like that whole I'll give the shirt off my back. I've seen that. I've seen people that have been like, hey, you can come into my house and I'll feed you dinner. You're a stranger. It's fine. Leave your front door unlocked. Kind of like.
See, I think we're taking it in a direction. So my thing is, okay. I've been told this before. A smile is the best thing, no matter what you're going through. A smile, if you can wear a smile in life, that's the best thing you can do. And it's like, that helps me. It's like, I actually understand that, man. It's like, maybe fake is the wrong term to use, but it's almost like, you can be going through anything in life, but if you can still have I could have sworn I turned that off. If you still have a happy demeanor about you, that helps, because we're all going through something. It doesn't matter what you're willing to do. I don't expect people to really do for me, but if you can make my day go a little bit easier by presenting yourself in a way to where like you feel happy to exist and you're happy that I'm also existing, that helps me. It's like, I don't know. It's just maybe, I don't know, man. Like, I don't, but see, I guess maybe because I'm that way, and it is difficult. I get what you're saying. Like, it takes a lot of power to just pretend to be happy, but it's almost like I am happy because I can do that. Like, you can be this way, or you can wear your heart on your sleeve. That doesn't work for me because it doesn't make anything around me better. So I just learned to, I guess maybe I learned to be a little bit more. Life is just life, man. I just kind of roll with the punches. I serve. Well, okay, so we've all worked service industry. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect example. It actually used to be a time where it started to wear on me, but then I guess, I don't know, maybe evolution for me in that particular work field suggested, you know what? Rather than feel as though you have to be this way, actually like learn to, what's the best way to put it? I organically started to appreciate life more, and I realized like I would just smile and be happier more, to be honest, man. Like you're going to be you regardless. Yeah. But it's almost like, you know what? Just you gotta appreciate life. I think that's what it comes down to. And I think like, I know what you're saying, bro. Like the fake, like I get that, bro. But it's like, man, I'll take that any day, dude. And not to make it about race, but my favorite demographic, even when I wait tables, is middle-aged Caucasian white, Caucasian women. And I know why, because no matter what.
She's just like.
I had to look at the camera.
Hold on. Because it doesn't matter what's.
Yeah.
You.
Literally those vibes.
They find a reason to be nice and happy. And I actually think about, and I don't.
Would you say middle-aged Caucasian white women?
It's probably because you're giving them alcohol.
No.
They're like, let me get that margarita, baby.
Like they're also at the top of the food chains, or almost at the top of the food chain. Like
who's that? Oh, they are. Yeah. You know what? And I think about that a lot. But I would like to think that that's it, but it's not. It's like it's really there's a certain naivety that comes with. I don't think it's just because everybody's got problems in life. I don't care what you're actually coming from, but they find a way to be kind of above it, and I can easily see how they can be, something that would create animosity for me. Like, okay, you and you. You're going to be able to really relate to this, man. You ever came across people that didn't like you because you're confident and happy with who you were? Like that is a real thing. Yeah. So when you're confident in yourself, it doesn't necessarily rub off on people the right way that aren't as confident in themselves. They have insecurities. They take that as like you're arrogant or you're this or you're that. But that's not. I don't.
That you're hiding. My entire old group of friends, or like just about all the friends that I grew up with, like close friends, I'd say like 90% of them definitely fall in that category where they were like, he's faking it or covering up or hiding some insecurity, and I'm like, no, I just genuinely love the fucking shit out of me. Like I am incredible, and I love me all the time. I should tell ex-girlfriends that let's be real, no one's ever gonna love me more than I love me. Like this is not a competition.
You would tell them this?
Yeah, why not? It's the truth. I'm gonna be honest. Like
it's not a competition.
Yeah, like really, no one will ever love me more than me. I love the shit out of me.
He's like Kanye. Kanye loves Kanye.
Yeah, and I relate to him. Like, like I am a god. I'm like, bro, I feel you. Yeah.
Me too.
You know, can I tell you the
That's
difference?
gangster, man.
Real quick, the difference that I've noticed is that if you meet a highly confident person, if a highly confident person meets another highly confident person,
It's all love.
and they're like, I'm amazing, I love me. And then the other person's like, I'm amazing, I love me. And they're like, oh, you're amazing, you love me? You love you? I'm amazing, I love me. You know, and it's like, oh, what? We're awesome. But when you're a very confident person, you love yourself, like genuinely, truly love yourself, and you meet someone who doesn't, that's when you get, I'm awesome, I love me, and they're like, oh, you're arrogant,
Yeah.
you're full of yourself, you're hiding something, and it's like, no, that's me loving me. I don't know what your issues are, but please do not project those on me, you know? Because in their eyes, you can't be that way unless you're hiding something, unless you're covering something up, or
Hence why I was saying I'm so attracted to that particular demographic in terms of waiting on them, because the energy they give off, whether it's fake or not, I don't waste time trying to interpret that. I look at it still, at the end of the day, they're happy, I'm happy, let's run it. Like, you're gonna make my existence that much better because you're not forcing your existential woes on me. It's like just be happy with me. Like, I'm all about that. Like, I try to be that. I really do. Life is hard, but what more can you do? What, you can be sad? No, you can be happy.
I think with the server life too, like you kind of have to get in this mindset of like, you know what, I have to be thankful that these people are here because this is how I make my money. And nobody is going to enjoy being at that restaurant or wherever you are serving if you're not happy being there.
Here's the ugly truth though. If you're serving for the money, which a lot of people do, that's the issue to begin with.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy when I doing that. It's not my ideal life, but I enjoy serving because I like, personal people. I like interacting with people. As I said earlier, like that's my thing.
real quick, so this is like a perfect crossroad, a perfect intersection of a question I've always wanted to ask, but I've never asked. But since we're talking about these two things, serving and stuff like that, we've all been in that situation where you walk up to a table and you say, hey guys, welcome to such and such. It's a great day, blah, blah, blah. You expect, how are we all doing today? And you're like, happy, great mood. And then they say something like, we're just coming back from a funeral. Has that ever happened to you guys?
Yeah,
That's happened
sure.
to you? That's happened to you, right?
I've had several. Yeah.
So, I thought about this recently. I don't know why, because no one said anything like that to me recently. But I was kind of curious. What is that? Taking a step back, looking at where they are in their situation, and why they would say that. How should I have actually reacted? Because normally I'm like, oh, that's really terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. What do you want to drink? Like, it's a super awkward.
Wow.
No, first of all, it's a super awkward situation to be in for anyone to put you in. First of all, I get angry because I'm like, why would you not lie to me like a normal human being?
I wouldn't lie.
It's like walking down the street and you're like, hey, how's it going? Like, my life is terrible. Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Who was it? There was a comedian that just had a bit about that. Ah, man. Tom Segura had a bit about that. It's really hilarious. But thinking about it, what should you actually say in response? Like, I'm trying to be empathetic here, as I'm trying to be more empathetic in my life.
But what if you're busy? Like, I really have shit to do. I'm not a therapist. Like, what do you want to drink? Coke, water, sweet tea?
But Southern hospitality and that whole I don't know. I feel like it's the Southern hospitality thing. It's the empathetic thing. It's being who you are, but being in a situation where you can't technically be who you are, and it's a person in a situation that's almost, it almost sounds like they're asking for help.
Do you take it on as a personal responsibility to be part therapist?
Oh, I never have ever.
See, I'm the opposite.
I've been thinking recently, like, maybe I should have. When
I bartended, I did feel like there was a therapeutic nature to that scene. But as just a server serving tables, coming up like, hey, what do you want to drink? What do you want to eat? I don't have time to, as a bartender, it's kind of like, okay, let me make my drinks. I'll be right back. And then I'm here for you. I don't have any side stuff I have to do. There's no other responsibility. Okay, you have my attention. Like, let's talk about it. Maybe I can try to make you feel better. And then, but as a server, that has happened to me before where it's like, well, we were coming back from a funeral, but they never gave me the vibe, because it was a family too. No one ever gave me the vibes of like, oh, poor pitiful us. It's more of like, well, because hey, how are you? How's your day going? Oh, well, we just came out for a funeral. Oh,
Well, they could be setting the tone to say, hey, if we're not very engaging, if we're not smiling, it's not you. I get that. But I mean, as a part of my journey and growth, as far as being more of an empathetic person, stop saying
That was so shitty.
No, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to say because I feel like I'm empathetic because I feel like I'm empathetic enough, or I think empathy should be here, or I feel like I reach a level. But then I take a step back and I realize not everyone looks at the world as if it's a matrix like I do. The falling code. That's how I look at the world. I see it as ones and zeros, and so I'm trying to be more empathetic. So yeah, it's difficult for me to say it that way. To realize that I still have a lot of growth to do. I see you're done with your wine.
It's a wrap.
I need to catch up.
You want some more?
Yeah,
wine?
you gonna tag me in? Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Have some
It's
wine.
good. It's so citrusy, man.
I
I love this. I'm gonna have to get a bottle. I'm gonna pick up a bottle.
You
on the
better
way
get in
home.
where you. Okay, good. Get it while you can. This is almost done. I'm right behind you. Do you want some of this? Okay, well, let's pour it in there.
That's a toast, real quick.
Yeah.
All right, cheers to us.
Wine and nine.
But what I was saying is, I'm trying to be more empathetic, and so I'm looking back on a lot of situations that I've been in life, and trying to think about how I would approach them now that I consider and take in like feelings and emotions. Being the type of thinker that I am, I normally do not take in or consider any emotions. And I don't mean like my partner or my friends. I don't mean even my own. I don't consider my own emotions as I make decisions, as I go through life. So now I'm trying to like more so reevaluate things as a part of my growth.
Is it a personal challenge for yourself?
I wouldn't say challenge. Challenge sounds like something that's like something that can be overcome and then you move on. But growth, I think, is something that's permanent, that stays with you. And for me, this is more about growth. It's more about becoming a more empathetic, emotionally available, emotionally present, emotionally aware person. And that's not me. I almost would say that I closely relate to the Vulcan race in Star Trek. Like they don't have emotions. They don't consider emotions in their thought process. And I thought to myself when I heard that sounds like a good idea. Like,
but if you're aware though, you know what they came from. They had to get to that point. They were the most savage of races.
oh, actually, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
No, tell me.
That was part of their evolution. Yeah, they were. I believe they were worse than humans. Actually, that's what
I don't
pushed
have
them.
a fact checker. What is it?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, my Star Trek lore is pretty. Joey Tallbull. I love you, brother.
What's the
No,
question?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the Vulcans. They used to be. They came
Vulcans
from. They were
Star
very.
Trek. The origins.
Okay.
The origins of the Vulcan. Because I'm not a Trekkie. It's lightly that I've dabbled in. There's most of the Michael Bay films. Yeah,
You might be mistaken.
Michael Bay definitely shot that. Yeah,
You're thinking of.
he had all those anamorphic lens flares.
You're thinking of. It's about to hit me. It's not Michael Bay. It's
So actually, Frank, find out who directed.
Into the Darkness and Star Trek 2000. The last Star Treks.
Yeah, who
It's
directed
not,
the
it's
last
not Michael Bay. It's
Star,
the dude
Star,
that.
Star Trek?
Oh, not Spielberg. I think Spielberg was.
It's Michael Bay.
It's not. It's my other guy.
Who else has a ridiculous amount of lens flares for no reason?
I'll stand corrected though if I'm wrong.
All right.
Are you about to look at it?
So, the Vulcans are from the planet Vulcan,
Yeah.
right? So, in the Star Trek universe, they were the first extraterrestrial species to make contact with humans. Alright, that's what they're telling me.
I didn't know that.
Alright, so what was the second question?
J.J. Abrams.
JJ?
Oh damn! Now that you
I know,
said it out
I just
loud,
couldn't get the name, yeah.
Oh, you right though. You right.
Look up.
I said that. Oh, you right.
What would be a way to put it? I guess the evolution of the Vulcan, or put in the Vulcan history. Put in Vulcan history, the Vulcan species history.
Wait, were they real people?
This is
No,
Star
no.
Trek.
Okay, but like, why did you?
Welcome to Wine and Nine. Welcome to Wine
40%
and
is
Nine.
hitting.
No, but you said.
No, it's just in the universe.
It's
The
something-
history.
okay,
Yeah, it's
in
just.
the universe.
Yeah.
Okay, in the imaginary world. Okay.
An imaginary world?
Oh my god, I said that earlier. Imaginative world. I said that earlier, and I was like, is it imaginary or imaginatory?
Do you have a specific trait you're looking for from a Vulcan?
No. I just know in their history they weren't always. They were actually real. They were savages. Hold on.
The most savage of like all the made up Universal stuff, or just in the Star Trek?
No, I mean not out of everyone, but the Vulcans I know is actually basically removed from evolution that did last. The Vulcan character. Why do Vulcans have no? We heard some people say they have no words, but that's because their culture has told them that. But it's a lie. And Spock's arc as a character in the films. Romulans make no attempt to hide their emotions.
Long story short, the Vulcans just don't make emotion-based decisions.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
so like most men.
No, first of all, I think you're wrong about that. I think a lot of men make very emotionally based decisions, but they try to be stoic. They try to pretend like it's not emotion based. As a very binary thinker, I'm not like impervious to emotions or emotion based decisions, but I definitely make a lot fewer decisions based on emotions. And I mean, it's not pride, you know. I'm not saying like, oh, it's cool, I'm better than it, but
Well, speaking of emotions, do you guys believe in like zodiacs?
I was gonna say a hard resounding no, but I wanted to give him a moment to think.
My personal experience has shown me that it's not really a matter of belief. I don't really even know what that means anymore, because I started to think, do I conduct myself as though zodiacs have a certain level of, like, they're true? I've seen consistencies in them, so it's almost like I think there's something there. I think there's something there. It's not that I believe in them as if like I have to check. Like if I meet a hot girl, I'm be like, well, let me see. That's going to dictate, you know, whether or not if we're compatible. It's not. I don't function on it that way. But I do see consistencies. I don't think it's ironic. Like I meet people and a lot of their character traits line up with the zodiac, and I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty cool. You know what I mean? And it's not necessarily, but it's not my end all be all. Do you?
I don't really believe in it, but you know, technically my zodiac sign is supposed to be one of the most emotional signs.
What is it? You are actually y'all are. What are you?
I'm a Cancer.
Aries.
Aries.
Yeah.
What are you?
Lucky Libra. All about the Libra scale. That's interesting. Y'all getting to know Wine and Nine tonight, man.
I think
Aries, Cancer, Libra.
it's BS.
Yeah,
I met a guy who had the exact same birth date, like the same exact date, and we could be more opposite, polar opposite. So I don't think it has any, like, it doesn't really matter. But since you are or you're looking into Christianity, because you did say religion earlier, but I don't think you are.
I
You
don't know it was
listening to other
Christianity. It's not because the religious text I'm taking into, because I think what happens is like when you say Christianity, then all of a sudden I have to be held to some like religious structure, and it's like I'm
As you
religious
should.
but in a different way.
If you say religion, then it should be more than just Christianity.
I believe. Well, I think. Well, it would define. How are we defining religion? I think. So I don't know the exact definition, but it's not necessarily. It's not. I don't want to abide by Christianity until I can say that I have a absolute submission to everything that it holds.
Well, I hear people say that they're like, I'm religious. I'm like, okay, name what two religions are you interested in following, studying? They're like, oh no, only Christian. Well, then you're not religious. You're Christian.
That's not true though.
Yes.
I think you're taking that in a whole different way. You can be religious and not even believe in a official man-made religion. Religion is more about the 1 minute we got left. We gotta do something.
I'm saying like, a lot of people say they're religious, and then you're like, well, tell me something about Judaism. Tell me something about three different religions. Like, oh, I don't know any other religions, just Christian. And I'm like, well, then you're not a religious person. You're just a Christian.
It's an interesting argument.
If you're only going to be in one sector.
I know, right? We can't.
We'll have to hit on that another day.
All right, so we'll definitely get back to that. You know, that we'll save that for another. We'll save that for another episode. Because I feel like we'll definitely get into religion a lot.
Yeah.
And while we're getting to know each other, you know, we'll let the audience get to know us. What's your religious standpoint, real quick, real fast? We don't have to get into it in depth, but where do you stand?
So you're definitely, you would say Christian?
The what do you call it? Y'all help me out. The Nata wine kicking in. It's the Bible, but it's the
wine at 10 is very different.
The
than
particular
wine at 9.
version. I hate y'all, man.
So you're saying what?
I read the Bible a lot, but I've studied a lot of it. I would consider myself religious because maybe it's in the way I take it. Maybe if I explain my definition of it. You're religious when you have something that, like, it's like I'm indoctrinated to a spiritual truth that's higher than myself. So even if I don't have a necessarily like a religion, but it's like I know I'm religious because I believe in it right and wrong.
Well, you're learning someone that you're trying to resonate with.
Oh yeah, and I think that's important. I would never like even with other religions. Like I'm eager to learn, but I do know once you know what's right for you, and that's kind of what life is. It's like I'll admit that and I'll acknowledge that what's right for me. But I've never done that in my entire life because I'm very scientific minded. But now I'm starting to realize there's a different realm of existence. It's also what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, looking for a moral truth. So it's like, by that means I'm religious. Like if something doesn't resound with me in terms of like it's wrong, yeah, I'm religious from that standpoint. Like I'll call it that, and there's nothing anybody else can tell me like that's right. You know what I mean? Like I believe that. You know, like so yeah, I'm religious from that standpoint. So I think you kind of. What about you, Jen?
I would say that I'm a follower of Christ, which is technically Christian. I kind of lean on my own understanding, which I know is actually against. It's something that I'm doing right now in my younger age because I am spending a little bit more time on getting myself to a solid ground before I get to that submissive state of this is what I'm a part of, and this is what I believe, and this is what I'm going to do in order to follow what I believe. But like you said, there's definitely a higher power, and to me it is He, which is God, and He is very good, and He's been good to me my whole life. I'm very blessed. I mean, I think every day about how blessed I am, especially in a time like right now with what I'm going through in my life. So that's what I would say about my beliefs.
Atheist, like straight up.
Yeah, we need that.
Yeah, no question about it. Like until there's scientific proof that dictates otherwise, and you know, I grew up in a religious household. My dad was Baptist, and then my mom was Buddhist, which
interesting.
I loved.
I
love that. And.
Oh, that they can have such different like viewpoints in terms of like religion.
Yeah, my dad's a very quiet dude. Like he's very reserved. My mom, very outgoing, very outspoken. I learned so much from her at an early age. She really shaped me from a child to an adolescent, and then my dad was like, he's like, I'm gonna take this part right here, which is extremely important. He's like, adolescent to man, but I would say my mom was more philosophical, than religious, more spiritual or philosophical than religious. And for me, I am just scientific, and I studied different religions, and the more I studied, the more I found it very, very difficult to believe.
I've always questioned this. I want you to help me out with this.
Yeah.
So even I, to some degree, struggle with this. So where does your moral foundation even come from? Do you have a sense of morality?
Yeah.
Where does it stem from?
Oh, it comes from two places. It comes from within, and it comes from the environment that you're raised in. It, and in my opinion, it literally cannot come from anywhere else. It's the world that you're raised in, your environment teaches you a lot of it, and then the rest of it is internal for you to process. You know, as you study a lot of religions, you realize there's a lot of similarities with a lot of them.
Yes.
You know, the Son of God being born on December 25th, being dead for 3 days, resurrected, 12 disciples, performing miracles. This goes through a lot of different religions before Christianity, after Christianity, and astrologically, there's a lot of reasons why that's exactly the way that it is. You know, why Easter falls on Easter, why Jesus or the Son of God is, you know, born on December 25th. While there's the three kings. It's a lot of that is absolutely just all astrological. You know, in a world where they've navigated the seas and traveled by the stars, like their whole world. Like we have HBO Max, we have Crunchyroll, we have Netflix. They have the stars. That was their whole entire existence. So it makes a lot of sense why everything is the way that it is. And the more you study, the more you see that, you know, you got Jesus, Horus, you know, they're all sun related. It's all about astrology. And the more I learned, the more I was like, this is not real. For me, Jesus is just as real as Orion's belt. You know, they're astrological figures.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like the actual physical, like the entity of Orion's belt. You meant like
astrology.
You mean the story behind Orion's
the whole
belt.
thing about,
you mean like the construct of Orion's belt versus the actual 3 stars, because those are real.
Yeah, those are very real.
Okay.
Like when you talk about, you know, Jesus being dead for 3 days and then he rises, and then you talk about the winter solstice. It falls on December 22nd. It's down for 3 days, dead. You know, winter represents death and famine and everything, and then on December 25th it rises 1 degree north, just 1 degree, and that's when there's a new life, a new birth, and then it brings into spring and life, and it's a lot of astrology. And the more
I've even watched, trust me, I've been the biggest critic. Like I'm naturally a skeptic. I think what happened was over time you start to realize, well, these patterns mean something. So even if you didn't take it from a religious angle, I see God in so many things in nature, and it's weird. It's like I don't think it's coincidence that you can, to me, for you to be able to draw up.
No, I'm not laughing. Like I don't mean that any disrespect.
No, I don't take it, but I'm curious though.
But I was thinking, like,
what I say?
Are you gonna see more God or less God after you take LSD?
Oh, so that's an interesting thing to bring up. I think it depends on the individual. So 2 things I want to hit on. When you were talking about, first off, I want to say it's very interesting that your parents were so different with their religions, because technically in your father's religion, God says that you do not have a successful relationship unless you both follow God and are you give yourselves to God before you give yourselves to one another. And that's the whole point of like sex before marriage, stuff like that. So it's very interesting. I know you don't believe, I know, but it also makes it hard for people who are Christian in the world. Like for me, like it seems as if everyone that I love the most is actually like against, or either atheist, or they say they believe in a higher power, but it's not God.
I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Like that.
Yeah, oh my god. I hate that. That's probably my biggest pet peeve in like the whole world. I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. Like, what is that even? What do you believe in? You worship a crystal, like, and you watch
They would
the
definitely
stars?
show you crystals if you want to see them.
I bet,
chakras,
yeah.
crystals, yeah.
I just that one drives me crazy. But now that it's wine at 10, I can't remember the other thing.
It's all good. You're good. I will say this though. I think what I've noticed in a lot of people, all right, because you were quick to claim hardcore atheists. I found this so interesting. So a lot of people who tend to be like really hardcore atheists, they have a problem. It's more of I'm able to discern the ego from the actual belief, because it's almost like, no, I mean that.
No, when you said ego, it reminded me of what I was gonna say, because you said you brought up LSD, and part of that, you experience an ego death, especially with DMT.
Yeah.
You experience an ego death. So that's where you are kind of like, that's where people get to this point to where they're like, oh, okay, because when you are just a regular person in the world is you and it's your world, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's just how we perceive things. Like, okay, this is my story. Like, you always picture yourself as the main character in your own movie. Like, okay, like, this is how the story goes, right? And you're like writing your own book. But when you take LSD or like any type of psychedelic, especially DMT. You've ever done DMT?
I'm looking forward to it, but I have yet to take it.
Okay, you have never even tripped, have you?
No.
Okay.
By the way, real quick, we recorded a little video. We recorded a little video the other day, a video testimonial of KG saying that he will absolutely take LSD before December 31st, 2021, and if he does not, I have permission to dose him.
My personal
Which I would never
LSD
do
reactions will be
someone gave
discussed
me-
on Wine at 9. That following episode, I'll let y'all know what it's all about, man.
It's gonna be it's a whole new show.
Oh yeah,
About
well
holy shit.
we're gonna do our own show on LSD at some point. We probably shouldn't have even given that away yet, but you're definitely gonna have to do it on that show.
Okay.
We won't do that much. Jared just has some good stuff, so we won't give you that much. But so you experience an ego death when you take these psychedelics, and that's why when people take them,
Very true.
you experience this. You know, he's not an empathetic person, but you
Wait,
experience.
I am. But not as much as most people.
But you experience this almost like an awakening is what they call it, where you're like, okay, like I am a part of like the literal world, like not just the people in the community, but like the actual structure,
The universe itself, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, it goes from thinking like, okay, this is my world, this is my story, to like, oh, this is us. It's all of us. And when you hit that first ego death, it's so humbling. It's humbling to a point to where it's like, you don't even want to come out of that, because you realize like there's a part of me that is just really like, you find passion within it. You find a lot of not just self-knowledge, but knowledge that you wouldn't need. It's not anything you can read in a textbook. It's not anything you can Google. This is something that your mind is like coming to a humbling point of, you're a part of something and you were chosen to be.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
So every so often, first of all, I don't take LSD for pleasure or to get high or to feel a certain way. It's for me, it's almost a cleanse, you know. And so for me, I've always said cleanse, but now that you actually use the term ego death, I'm like, that's actually a more accurate way to put exactly what I feel like. It's kind of both. Like there's just being a living human being in the third dimension, on this planet, in this universe.
I think I have the most difficult time with just your rationale. I'm looking at it like it's still, this state of understanding is still chemically induced. And I think that's what messes me up a little. It's like, I'm not against drugs,
Yeah.
but I mean, I drink and all types of stuff, but it's almost like I try to be at the end of the day, I try to live a life of grace. It's like, if none of this existed, if at the end of the day, man, like grace is I don't know the technical way to define it. I don't think you can, but it's like to understand like God's truth and just live by that and be okay with that and be okay with that. Actually, because y'all cut me off, and not saying that it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good talk. But it's like, it's not just the ego thing, but accepting a sovereign truth, a sovereign God is very difficult for people who rely on like this. And it's like,
Well, that's
True.
why he says you can't rely on your own understanding.
and yeah, exactly. And
I mean, I think that's a very
Well,
a scapegoat thing to say, but
you've been blessed with a great mind, so I would completely understand why it's so difficult for you to get to that point. Actually, I've got a good mind myself, but I'm also aware, like, I've actually got my own circumstance to where I'm starting to understand that even that's finite. It's forcing the issue. It's like, I think as you get older, you start to see life for what it truly is. It's not.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not purely progression. It's not purely comprehension. It's almost like being able to, like I said, I get the simplest things, man. It's the simplest things, dude. It's just like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm like, okay, never mind. It's cool.
No, I like where we're going. I like where we're going, and I think that obviously religion is going to be something we're going to touch on a lot. And we're probably going to get heated. There's going to be a lot of yelling, and we have to sign a contract before this. Says after this episode, we will still be friends. Exactly. Well, we're going to get to that, but I think that's a great place to just kind of wrap it up and let people know that this is who we are. This is where we're going, and this is what we're about to get into. Because I feel like after this, I feel like we're gonna get real heavy. Because I feel like there's some definitely shit that we need to resolve and we need to talk about with or without an audience. And it's gonna happen regardless. So I think that
Well, real quick. Not to cut you off. You ready?
Man.
Here's my thing, real quick. 45 seconds. A podcast. Why was that a platform you really took to?
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go across the board.
Yeah.
Everybody, they need to know this.
We'll start with you. We'll just go kind of go.
You know what? I'm a big. I love bars, and I had a lot of experience what I came to realize about myself is that being there, a bar is different. You can get intimacy in such a quick manner, and it's like I appreciate that. So it's like I came to understand something about myself. Expression is so pivotal to for me being happy. And it's like, you know what, at the opportunity for a podcast, I knew I would jump at it. It's like, I like to talk. I like to be able to express myself, for who I am, and then I also like to learn and grow. That's literally what I do when I'm out at the bar, but why not make it something constructive and productive? It's always been my thing, I could be informative. I'm learning from y'all right now. That was my whole deal. It's like it fits me naturally.
I think so too. Yeah, no, I'd love to talk. One thing that we figured out amongst ourselves when we were doing our practice shows was that I do love to talk. I think we all have a lot to say. We all have very interesting and unique ideas, some that are common, some that are different, and I think that we bring so much to a table. When I first came to Jared Joseph about the podcast, I said, let's bring Kaylin in on, and he's like, okay, it's a great idea. And I said, I think it's interesting because we are going to get into heavy topics about religion, and us already knowing that he's atheist, that we're a little bit more, exploring the Christianity side of religion, and then knowing that they're black, I'm white, he's biracial. He's from Virginia, we're from Noonan, really. Just being different but the same, and then having these unique ideas of these types of conversations, being willing to do that, and to be willing to do that on a camera, we're gonna show, or we're gonna share what we talk about, I think is where the whole the drive behind this really came from, and we're really enjoying it so far. I mean, it's something we look forward to. It's been really consistent. It's been it's just been something that is therapeutic, I would say, more than anything. I think that because on a normal day when we're having casual conversations with people, whether it be like in a bar or wherever we are, even with our families, it's there's some things that we're gonna I would never talk about LSD around my family, right? But we're here on a podcast and we're talking about how that's influenced us, our lives, and how it's brought us into our way of thinking, and we're just kind of exploring this, and right now it's a hobby, but if it goes any farther, then that's cool. And I was telling KG earlier, it'd be cool, this is our first episode, to kind of look back in maybe a few years and say, this is where we started. So we're really, really, really excited for this journey. We've had so much support so far, so that's been amazing. And yeah, so I think that's the main reason why we're doing this.
I can definitely build off that by saying that I'm really excited about the fact that, you know, we're not alone. I know, like, with the ego thing, we like to feel special, like we're unique,
Yeah.
but we're not. There are plenty of people out there who really enjoy picking up, you know, a bottle of wine. Like, this was, like, what, 18, 20
I don't know,
bucks?
but that was really good
This
wine.
is really good.
Really good.
And I'm looking forward to try this again or anything else they have
That
from
was
it.
really good, dude.
But, you know, there's a lot of people that instead of going to the bars and spending a ton of money, they want to pick up a bottle of wine for like what? Like 18 bucks, I think.
Oh, look, I got you
Maybe
over here.
3
I actually got
bottles.
these on special. So this was 6. This one was
Wow.
about, I want to say 11 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, yeah, this was definitely the more pricey one. But I mean, I'm not complaining about either one. But you know, not too much. But trust me, there have been bottles we had on previous shows where
They're like $30. Yeah.
They get up there. They do get
Yeah.
up there.
I'm saying, like, we're not the only ones who drink wine and talk philosophy and get in depth about things that truly matter to us, that we're passionate about, where we express who we are, our experiences, our memories. And I think it's going to be a great outlet for people to just, like, truly. I know it sounds cheesy when we say, you know, grab a bottle of wine and some friends or whatever. What do we say? We encourage you to grab a bottle of wine and some friends and join us as we discuss and debate a variety of topics.
That's
Yeah.
you came up with that.
I mean, yeah, it's brilliant. You're welcome. I'm just saying, we're not the only ones that drink wine and talk about things like this. So I think it's amazing that we're doing it now, and I would love to listen to other people, you know, go into their deep topics, and for us to listen to them and like literally pause and just discuss. You know, like, hey, what did you hear? What did you take from it? How do you feel?
Yeah.
I think that's amazing, and I think that moving forward for humanity, we need more people that are more philosophical, that are thinking things through on a deeper level. So I'm very proud of what we're doing here, and I'm really looking forward to our other discussions, regardless of how heated they're going to be. And we'll sign contracts. Like, we will be friends after this subject. After this episode, after I tell him how fucking retarded he is, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think we'll always be friends because I couldn't imagine a life without you guys. So cheers to that.
Okay, I'll empty cheers because I'm no wine.
Oh, you can have. You don't like it, but you can totally.
This
have
actually
the
isn't
rest of
bad, so I'll say it. So let's cheers to. We just cheers. I'll do it again, but
We'll close up. Yeah, we'll cut in on that.
let's go ahead and
All right.
let's finish this wine. If we're gonna do a wine at 9
All right,
or 10 or whatever time it is, we'll finish it.
you finish it.
I already finished mine. I'm helping you out. All right, I'm helping you. All right,
both are.
teamwork.
Hey, that's 14% alcohol. Nobody forget. Okay,
All right, wine at 9.
Wine at
Official
9.
episode 1.
Official episode 1.
Official.
Thank you guys.
Frank, we love you, brother.
Look at
Yeah.
you, bros.
Yeah,
Thanks for the
girl.
production.
You got it.
Oh,
What are you drinking?
oh, okay, cool.
Just get some Pinot.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So we'll wrap this up and we'll say, I mean, pretty much that pretty much concludes this week's discussion. So make sure to catch us next Sunday.
Tune in next week.
Yeah, at Wine and 9, and be sure to comment and describe. Comment and subscribe.
Subscribe.
What you'd like for us to talk about, what you'd like for us to discuss, and at the beginning of every episode, we like to toast to something. So if you want us to toast to something, be sure to drop a comment, and we'll be sure to toast to that.
Let us know what you want us to toast to. Also, comment what you think about our episodes. So, cheers.
I'm gonna finish this right now.
Okay, let's do it. Chuck, come
Come
on.
on, bottoms up. It's Wine and 9. We have to finish it. Let's go. That is not a good chugging wine.
Wow, I'm being wasted.
All right, yeah, we'll cut right there.
Jen is red as a goddamn beet over here, man.